Good afternoon, friends, and welcome back to our program. I'm Daniel Cook, and over the course of the next several minutes, I'll be presenting to you a translated version of today's news for those of you who are more comfortable in English. In today's Economic Commission meeting, the members discussed a recent report released by the Albanian Deposit Insurance Agency. The report reveals that the difference in wealth between the poor and the rich in Albania has increased. The report states that 4% of the Albanians have 60% of their savings deposited in the banks. The majority members expressed the belief that the low level of deposits during 2014 shows that the economy is in difficulty. The head of the Albania Deposit Insurance Agency said that deposits have in fact increased during 2014, but that this is the lowest increase in many years. Compared to just a year ago, the insurance fund for bank deposits has increased by 17%. April the 22nd is the deadline for businesses to submit their proposals for the fiscal package of 2016. One demand from the business sector has been clear so far. They want more consistency in the fiscal policy because the frequent changes are deterring investors. The administrator of the group of business representatives thinks that the decrease in investments has been largely due to the frequent changes in tax law. According to him, it is not normal for the country's fiscal package to change every year. According to the business representatives, the recent tax changes have turned Albania into a non-competitive country in the region, causing foreign and domestic investors to choose other regional countries for their activities. This request from the business reps comes at a time that the Finance Ministry is collecting business proposals for the 2016 fiscal package. The Commission of Productive Activity has released a report on the energy sector, which states that 47.8% of the Albanian families are paying more for energy since the removal of the 300 kilowatt protective tier. The head of the energy regulator said that the number of families that are being affected by the price change is lower than it was a year ago. Another problem was raised by the opposition members in the commission. They say that the energy network has suffered losses in the amount of 30%. The head of the energy regulator said that new investments in the network will be made soon. He considered renewable energy to be a development opportunity for Albania, and he called the government to facilitate renewable energy in the fiscal package. There was a great deal of debate in today's Law Commission over the 2014 report from the Inspectorate for Declaring and Auditing Assets. The head of the Inspectorate called the Parliament to take action against the officials who have failed to declare their property. He said that the officials have been punished only with petty fines. He proposed much more severe punishments, starting with 1 year in prison. He said, "No one has been sentenced for this crime in 10 years. The Parliament must take action against this. We must remove the fine and replace it with a prison sentence, starting with 1 year. 25 officials were found guilty of hiding their assets, and they were given only petty fines. Another 35 cases were simply suspended, and we have not received an answer from the prosecution concerning 60 cases," said the chief inspector. The opposition views the activity of the inspectorate with some suspicion, believing that they are being used for political reasons. The opposition MP, Basha, requested information about the measures that are being taken against these officials. The head of the inspectorate said that 1,500 officials have been audited and 116 lawsuits have been filed. He said, "We have started to audit the assets of the officials whose property has not been checked for 10 years. There have been 116 lawsuits filed against them from last March until now. There are officials who have not declared their property," he said. The majority members have asked for more support for the inspectorate, and they have encouraged the head of the organization to keep up the work in a way that is not politically biased. The majority members said that thanks to the work of the inspectorate, people suspected of corruption have been removed from the list of candidates for the upcoming local elections. Prime Minister Rama was in Fier today, overseeing the delivery of compensation in the areas that were affected by the floods. He also paid a visit to the Social Security offices, where he made the statement that pensions have increased under the new reform. He accused the former government of not having the courage to do such a thing. The propaganda that the current government has lowered pensions is nothing but a big lie, he said. The pensions have only increased since this January. The Prime Minister appealed to the people to pay their social insurance so that they can have bigger pensions in the future. Mr. Rama responded to the comments that the Socialist MP, Ben Belushi, recently made about the death of the Renaissance. The Prime Minister said that he strongly believes in the Renaissance and that it requires time and patience to bear fruit. We will succeed in making the promised Renaissance a reality, he said. We have never said that we have a magic wand to transform Albania into a paradise, but we said that we will transform Albania into a country where everyone can live with dignity, said Prime Minister Edi Rama. Chairman Lulzim Basha was in Vlora today to present the Democratic Party candidate for the mayor. The Democratic chairman also commented on the high number of people who are leaving the country, looking for a better life in the EU countries. He said, "The citizens are suffering from a lack of good jobs. They cannot pay for their bills. Meanwhile, the officials are living in luxury. The arrogance, the arbitrariness, unlawfulness, poverty, and misery are the reasons for this exodus. But the government is worried only about their votes." Basha said that the territorial division was done without the input of the Democratic Party, and he called the people of Vlora to vote for a Democratic mayor, saying, "I ask the citizens who are tired of this government to vote for the Democratic Party. Our candidate is a man who is also a citizen, and he wants your support to return Vlora to its people," said Mr. Basha. On the second day of his visit to Berat, the German ambassador made the statement that now is the time to open the files from the communist era. Mr. Hoffman said that this is an important process for everyone in order to uncover the past of the people who were once collaborators of communism. After attending an exhibition entitled Dictatorship and Democracy, which portrayed the most important events of Europe in the 20th century, the German ambassador emphasized the need to open the files. He stressed the need to understand history if we hope to understand our current times. He had this to say about the exhibition. Initially, this exhibition appeared in 2014 in the National History Museum in Tirana. It was a very important year because it marked some major anniversaries: the 100th anniversary of the First World War, the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II, and the 25th anniversary of the ending of the Cold War with the fall of the Berlin Wall. This has particular value for Albania because these 100 years have been important for you. I believe that it's good to confront the critical historical developments. This kind of confrontation with the past, for the Germans, was a way to gain the trust of its neighbors in Europe once again, said Ambassador Hoffman. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all our news for this evening. Thank you very much for watching. Please join us again tomorrow at the same time for more translated news in English. Thanks, and have a great night.